Hi friends, this is Prem. Today we are going to discuss about the very important topic, and today is the big day, and yes, Supreme Court has given a very big decision about the birthright citizenship. We have been talking this in a long time, and a lot of people asking about what happened to the Supreme Court case. The USA birthright citizenship as given by the Constitution, but President Proclamation Order revoked the constitutional changes. So a lot of people asking about what happened to that. So whether this birthright citizenship is there or not, because the federal court stopped the president's order, then the case goes to the Supreme Court. Now the Supreme Court has given the judgment. It is a very good decision from the Supreme Court, and we have some questions to our attorney, and we are going to discuss all the things with our attorney Henry, and he is from Manifest Law Firm. Manifest Law Firm is given the free consultation for your any visa or green card queries. You have the QR code on your screen, just scan it and use it. Hi Henry, thanks for your time, and today is a very special day. We got a very big judgment from the Supreme Court. Before going to discuss about the judgment, எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
நல்லா இருக்கேன் நீங்க?
Yeah, I'm good, Henry. Thank you. And can you just explain about the big judgment from the Supreme Court today?
So today, really good news for anybody here on temporary visas. The Supreme Court has decided that the Constitution birthright citizenship and that the executive order that President Trump issued that was trying to limit birthright citizenship is unconstitutional. So the same law that has been in place for a long time is now declared as the right law or the correct way to do it, which means that whether you are illegal, whether you have temporary visa, visitor, H-1B, student, it doesn't matter. If you have a child in the United States, then they will be a U.S. citizen. There are very limited exceptions to this rule, which has been the case for a long time. So, for example, if you are working for the United Nations or you are working for the Consulate General of India and you are here as a diplomat, if you have a child while you are in the U.S., while you are in diplomat status, then your child does not get U.S. citizenship. So that is the diplomatic immunity exception to the birthright citizenship. But people don't have to worry that just because they are here on a student visa, for example, that their child doesn't get citizenship. So it's really good news for a lot of people.
Sure. So the things remain same as it is before the proclamation order or the executive order, right?
Correct. So the court basically just said, no, we have had a precedent for a long time that people are born here, are citizens, except this narrow exception like the diplomats having children here. But everybody else are U.S. citizens if they are born here. So it basically just goes back to like the Trump executive order never existed.
Cool. Because this is the constitutional rights to everyone, like as per the 14th Amendment. So if government or the president wants to change again, like they want to challenge the Supreme Court order, whether they can go to the court again or they want to change the Constitution.
From President Trump saying that maybe they would ask Congress to change the law, but in my opinion that wouldn't even help, because if the Constitution says we have this birthright citizenship, then Congress cannot even change it. They would have to change the Constitution. Now, of course, they could try to pass the law through Congress, or the president could try a different type of executive order, but then it would probably just end up back in the Supreme Court and get knocked down again for the same reason, because they've agreed with the majority 6-3, I believe, was the voting on the Supreme Court, that birthright citizenship is a constitutional right.
Correct. So if it is the law, it means like it should be the bipartisan bill. That is very difficult. On top of it, it can challenge to the court because it's not a constitution, right? Constitutional changes. It's a law. So can you please explain about the difference between the law versus the constitutional changes?
Yeah. So the U.S. legal system has a type of hierarchy, right? At the very top is the Constitution. Below the Constitution is laws from Congress. And then below laws from Congress come things like regulations passed by the agencies. So everything underneath has to be in accordance with the Constitution. So even if Congress passes a law, if the court looks at it and says, no, this is in conflict with the Constitution, then the Constitution always wins. which is great news for me because I was born in California when my parents were here on F status. So I have still have citizenship.
That's cool. Okay. Thanks, Henry. That's a very big news. So hereafter, none of the agencies, say example, none of the hospital say no to the SSN or the any passport agency say no to the passport, right? So it should be the same as it is.
Correct. So that means a birth certificate is still legal evidence of U.S. citizenship. So if you have a birth certificate from the hospital showing that you were born in the U.S., then that should be all that the Social Security needs to give you the SSN. That should be all that the Department of State needs to issue the U.S. passport.
That's a great news to all, but most of the viewers under the category of either the visa holders or the green card holders, so there is no issue on them. So it is a very good decision from the Supreme Court. Thank you so much, and you explained detailed about the constitution, the law, and the regulation and everything. So now we got a idea about what are the powers of the constitution, and it has the supreme power, and below that there is a law, so and below that only there is a regulation and policy is coming. Given the good explanation, and thank you so much for your time, Henry. Nandri.
Oh yeah, Nandri.